and it felt good. It fills up the tank of that the giving back feeling of you've done something to help out the community, and it gave me a little boost of energy. It was a tricky one to work on repairing for them, but it's one I always drive by and I see it, and it's a reminder that no matter how large the obstacle is, you could figure out a solution to get it done. Because big things, right? Big buildings, big projects. It helps recall that it's possible.
Hello and welcome to the Dream Start Own podcast. I'm your host, Edgar the Connector, and today we got Jim Vani. How you doing, brother?
Edgar, brother, fantastic, man. Thanks for having me today. I'm pumped.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm excited. You're going to be a semester's coach or teacher, mentor. I don't know what to call it, but what that is in our community with Pace Morby. Shout out to him. And Subto, you're basically going to be teaching people how to get into the business and the rights and wrongs of what to do. Expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for having me again here, Edgar. And yeah, huge shout out to Pace and the community. Without that, we wouldn't be here today talking, and all these opportunities wouldn't be in front of us right now. So thank you so much for that. Definitely grateful. Well, I've come from the construction world, so that'll tie in here to the courses that I'm an instructor on. My path has always been tied to real estate. I've been in the trenches on fix and flips. I've partnered with investors on ground up developments. And it's all about just using construction as a lever on any project that we're on. And where I'm different is I'm not just a builder. I'm not just an investor. It's a hybrid scenario here of I have both backgrounds. So I blend those together when I come onto a partnership or onto a deal, and I could see it with both lenses on. Yeah.
So the semesters, though, just a little bit more about that. You're going to
Sure.
teach it, and what are people going to get out of the semesters and the people in the community?
Yeah, so kicking these off, it's exciting. It's super exciting. You got to be in the Subto community to be involved and to join these semesters. But once you have access to this community, it's myself and a whole another group of folks that are hyper experienced and focused on their core of what their expertise is. And it's just us giving back on what we know best and to teach others the foundational blocks and in some cases, next level things. So where I'm at is the two different courses. One starts tomorrow, actually, so this week, fix and flips. That's going to be the roadmap, the foundational pieces of how you do a fix and flip. And the other one starts next week, which is Construction Mastery 101. That's also going to be foundational pieces. I'm excited about both. They're both going to be great for anyone that has little to no or even a good amount of experience, because there's different systems that will apply. These are areas I see folks trip up on, and investors have. There's stories that we don't like to hear, but they exist, where there's a loss on a fix and flip or a construction deal, and that will continue to happen. But it's a matter of ensuring that happens less frequently, and you have more wins. And when there is a problem on a deal, you know how to pivot and get out of it as best as possible. If you do 100 deals, there's going to be things that are going to go wrong, right? Just trying to ensure that you follow a system, you take your steps, and very importantly, you have a great team.
Great information to be sharing.
Yeah, man.
And the people in the community that get a semester, they're going to get a badge. I think Pace likes to talk about his Boy Scout days. So it's similar to that, right? To show that people in the community have taken that course and they've already been educated and they've passed the test. If you're going to work with them, it's going to help people validate people in their experience.
Yeah, the badges are cool. It's all about having this thing here in front of you. Here's a course available, and you have a bunch of them now coming out. They're all rolling out in segments of here's 5 or 8 or 10 at a time. It's a lot of hours that go into preparing for these. They're not just thrown up together. Subto support team is highly involved into ensuring that things are done in the best way to be able to learn and put it into practice. The goal for all the courses, but as I'm looking at my course and I was looking at the last module, I thought of, okay, how do you take this now, and you don't just put the badge on and you get your little certificate here. It's, what do I do now to take action, right? What's the actionable steps that I could now do with this information, down to the most simple thing. So the last module, you have to ride along through the whole course to get there, right? But once you get there, here's a few ways to post on Facebook now that you have this knowledge and how to apply it. That's how granular we get at the end, all the way through going in as a partner. There's bird dogging, there's the orbit program. There's a lot of things that I tie in with the course to be giving somebody more value and another tool on their belt.
That's brilliant to be able to add action items to it. So too many people just learn stuff and don't take action. So then they're really not learning. They're just entertaining themselves.
For sure, man. Yeah, I mean, you got to put it into practice. And, I think a lot of us are guilty of it. It's so easy to take in new information, just be the one to absorb the content and then just keep going with it, because it's so exciting with the stuff that's out there nowadays. But it's easy to get distracted as well at the same time with that, and find a way to pump the brakes and say, okay, I've learned enough to now go take action, even though there's all this, the shiny object thing, like all this more stuff that is great. Just stay in one lane and keep going. And then you just continue to learn about things as you're going. But just to keep learning all the time, it's gonna hold you back.
Yeah. Taking action is the most important thing about anything you're going to do.
For sure.
So as a semester's, I guess, instructor, we'll call it, is it something that they pay you for? Did they come to you? Did you ask to do it?
Yeah. So as far as how it works is, there's an opportunity that opened up primarily to Owners Club members. If you're not familiar with Owners Club, it's a separate group of individuals that have taken things to the next level, are more hyper-focused on business and real estate, and they want to own businesses together, do deals together, and it's a higher level of collaboration with a lot more involvement from PACE directly. It's pretty phenomenal, to be honest. And the opportunities that come to us as OC members this is one of them here. It's, hey, do you want to share, what your area of expertise is? I raise my hand. It feels great to be able to offer that and to give back. And I knew there was going to be a big commitment behind that. And it really is. And I enjoy taking on, the challenge. It's construction. I think of a quote from Jordan Peterson where he says, pick up the heaviest thing you can and carry it. Right. So it's, for most investors, the heaviest thing, it's the construction risk. And that's the way that my team and I take on. And that allows the investors to focus more on the bigger vision, as our vision is the construction side. So when I give this course and when we do this, like, how do we share the nuts and bolts to make someone dangerous enough to get out there and not see this as an obstacle they can't overcome? Oh man, there's a flooded basement, or I got to add walls for this co-living property. Or man, it's going to be a huge renovation. I want to go find just the lipstick ones only. And that makes sense as you're new and early on, but it's understanding how the processes work, so that way, when you do graduate from that lipstick, from that easier flip, or from that smaller remodel, you now could apply that same system and advance yourself as you grow with your team. So there's kind of going back to your question, because I get on these tangents because I get so excited about anything construction. It's an opportunity that I was able to take advantage of, and then there was a rigorous, to a degree, process to ensure that it was a good fit for both sides. Right, that Subto just didn't take on anybody, so I feel honored for that. Right, there's a lot of people who want to do these, and a lot of people will do different courses, but it's going to be just for value to the community. The vault there's a Subto vault. you could spend years in that thing and you just continue to learn. So this will go in the vault and it will be available for folks that are in the community that want to learn about this. They want to learn about business buying. There's a course. There's one on networking. There's all types of, it goes on and on.
That's incredible what you said there about giving back. So it's not something you get paid for, but because of the community and the go giver that Pace is give just ingrained it to everybody in the community to be that way. You're going to give back. I love it, dude. Thank you so much for doing that. Congratulations on being an instructor and selected to be a course member, along with the shout out to Dorina and Luver.
Yeah, big. Those are great partners to have on the fix and flip course. Green and Louver, fantastic partners. And construction course, you got Julie Collat and Nick Veracek, two amazing partners there as well. So they're both solid teams.
Nice. I had Julie on a couple of weeks ago. She didn't mention anything about her semester, so that's awesome. You're the first person actually talking about theirs. I appreciate that. And then I like what you said. Pick up the heaviest item you can. It's good to push yourself and try to do the hardest thing, because then anything that comes out there will be easy to do. And you being in the construction, I don't do fix and flips because I think that I'm too much of a perfectionist and I'm going to nitpick every little thing, and I'm just going to extend that timeline, and the timeline's going to kill the budget, the deal. No. So I appreciate you taking on that task for people like me that don't want to get into that section of the industry.
Yeah, that's a big thing. It's understanding that process, and that's one piece of what I'm doing right now. That it's a big thing, right? The courses are going to run for about 6 to 7 weeks, so that'll definitely fill in a lot of that time that I put aside for networking or podcasting. So I've switched things around here to make that happen, and I'm really happy to do that. But I do a lot of other things too. I partner with folks that are doing ground up projects. I have my own fix and flips going, and it always has a construction piece to it. But I mean, really, what real estate deal doesn't have something in construction, right? It's going to be either clean it up, do some paint at the minimum, versus full additions or ground up projects.
Yes, 100%. Is that what you do full time? Mainly construction, ground up, or fix and flip? 50-50?
Yeah, so it's now starting to gradually move more towards where we're doing more partnerships for ground up projects. So that the blend of having the builder construction experience and the construction or the investor experience, that then brings me to understand the missing pieces. So the role that may be more known in the industry is an owner's rep, but it's a bit different. So the owner's rep role traditionally is, if you're doing a project, let's say you're going to go build some new multifamily project and you are an investor, well, you're going to have to go hire your general contractor, put together your team. You're the investor, you're the owner, you got your funding partners behind you, or just your own capital. Well, now you have an owner's rep that you hire as the owner. They're the eyes and the ears on a construction project. So they're the in between the investor and the contractor, protecting the investor. They'll review the contracts, they'll watch the schedule, they'll check the budget, attend meetings, and they'll report back to the owner. And then the owner has to figure out what to do. That's a traditional owner's rep role. But the difference is, when you're in this community and you have more partnerships, I was able to find a way to partner on it. So that way we don't report things back. We reset the sale. We get involved from the beginning to build the schedule out, to source and vet out the contractor or the trades. We get deep into the trenches on that. And that helps with delays, which is a big factor for money, right? For interest. It helps with the overall process to flow better. And it's different when you're a partner on a deal versus just some hired third party, because now you have this best interest of the success of the project at the highest degree.
Gotcha. The construction that you're doing, is it all single family?
No, the owner role is more commercial type, multifamily, mixed use, the larger projects. For a single family, that's a general fix and flip. It's more just we partner. I handle the construction. The partner may have a deal that they've sourced. Maybe they have the funds, but they don't want to either deal with the construction, which I understand, or they don't have the experience, or just a combination of both. So then they'll say, "Hey, Jim, I found this opportunity. Looks like it's a great flip, and let's say it's going to be in Huntsville, Alabama. Maybe they're in California. Okay, well, that's a big lift right now. It goes back to the pick up the heaviest thing you can and carry it, but the numbers have to work. So we run the numbers, and then we will build a team. In that case, it would be in Huntsville to get that job done.
That's amazing. So you're not limited in one area. I mean, where are you focused at, or where are you located at?
Personally, in my backyard in Chicago, Austin, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, there's a whole list, but those are my main 3 hubs that I've been sharing with our bird dogs of where to focus right now, because those are the prime for us. I wouldn't typically be doing things in Chicago, but as I'm doing a monthly meetup and I'm here, they didn't naturally come my way, so it's easy resources right here in my own area. But I prefer places that I want to visit and I want to travel to, and those are warmer places than Chicago, which is why I mentioned Austin and Phoenix, which are both really growing markets, population growth. There's a lot of jobs in industry developing in both areas. There's some of the matrix indicators of that we look for when we're doing deals.
Job growth. Is there a specific place that you go online to see the job growth to figure out which cities you're going to focus on, or is it just what has been in the news saying that the company's moving to like Austin? Like Austin's been picking up a lot of in tech companies, right?
Yeah. I mean, first off, it's when you're doing something and you're in something, you kind of have your ears down right to the track, and you're able to hear those and feel those vibrations early on. So you're talking to people, you're seeing where the deals are going and where they're not going. That for me is the best indicator, because you have people that you know and trust within this community, for example, giving you firsthand examples of, hey, this is moving, this is not moving. But there's always the Bureau of the labor statistics that are going to look for, Department of Labor. There's reports that you would follow. So I would recommend you do that too. You could find all the data points online, but then you really want to ingrain into the community that you're working with. In our case, up two, and find out who's doing it, who's the best flipper in that area, and connect with them and get a feel for how it's going for them, right? And of course, it doesn't mean that that's going to be your gold standard, but it's one more thing to add to your list of your due diligence before you go into a market. I love talking to real estate agents that are local, that have high volume numbers and that work with investors. I think the key is really, do they work with investors? So if you're going to go on Zillow and do a search, you can search for, add a keyword, add the word investment or investor, something in there, and you'll start finding listings that have that in the description. Those are going to be agents that are more likely going to be a good resource for you, than just a standard agent. But all those are great things to look for.
Thank you for those nuggets.
Yeah.
How long have you been in construction now, or in your own, like as an owner for your construction company?
Yeah, so I've been licensed in construction for over 15 years. And then real estate, I found an old HUD. I was looking through some files, and I was like, I got to find an old HUD from one of the deals back in the day. And I found one from 2005, which was pretty fun. So I put that on my Instagram a while back, but it was cool. Like, this think back about how 20 years ago, how different things were now. And that was before the '08 crash. So I experienced that. And like anyone out there that's gone through trials and tribulations, you learn from those, and there's cycles, things are cyclical, and you then hope to foresee that, whatever that next cycle is, and pivot early enough to take advantage of that.
2005, 20
Yeah, man.
years now. Man, time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
wasn't
crazy.
I wasn't even focused on real estate at that time. I was trying to, but just at that time, I was, young, still growing up. Is construction something you wanted to do from when you were younger, or how'd you get into
I
that?
didn't really have much of a choice. That's what my dad did for a living. So at first it was tag along and hang out with dad and do some stuff at the job site or goof around really. Over the years that led to when you're taught something really really young, like whatever it is, like if I had someone who whatever it is, a hedge fund, that let's say my dad ran a hedge fund. Well, I'd probably be doing that, right? Or at least know about that. Or if you have a physician, right, as a parent, whatever your thing is, like there is an influence there, right? It doesn't mean that 100% that's where you're going, but that influence could definitely make an impact. Where what do I do with that influence? Do I gravitate towards it? Do I gravitate away from it? Take the good, leave the bad, right? I hope my kids take all the good that I could teach and leave the bad, right? And then be better than me. And that's what I grew up around. And the summers, I did a lot of construction, and that led to me doing more and more of it. But it's something that I enjoy doing because I like seeing things that before your eyes are changing. And when you build it, you could see it, you could feel it, you could touch it, you could walk through the space and the energy that's there. It's great to see. Okay, this is a property that you have to put a mask on. It's so terrible when you walk in, and now you go in there and there's a family living there or a business that's has income coming in. And I even think of the multifamily properties that we have and we've created homes for people. And then on the ground level, there's one as an ice cream shop, for example, and then an insurance company we have down below. And you're creating wealth through your assets, and it's a whole cycle of money that you've now created. And the jobs on these fix and flips, man, even 30, 40, 50 different jobs are created depending upon how big your rehab is. You start adding out that up, and you're making a huge positive impact on even a basic flip.
What a powerful point there, that the work that you're doing the construction, being able to provide locations for people to work, that you're not just affecting that one person that buys it or yourself, you're affecting the whole community in a way.
Amen.
What's your largest project you have going on right now?
There's a lot in the hopper that are large. So we've been involved in over the years of a lot of ground up multifamily projects that are anywhere from 50 to several hundred units in size. So they've been pretty large projects that we've had our hands in. The current ones right now, they're ranging from around 1 million to several million or more. There is some that are over 10 million that we've reviewed with actually a couple other owners, that the ambition is to develop something that size. It's going to demand well over $10 million. And our role has been that of the construction partner. And we've discussed things early on to give them some guidance. And we're engaging now with a few folks that are doing these. There's one that's more local in our area in Rockford that I'm working on, and that's a few million, like $3 million, $3.5 million project for 12 units, and that one is going to be for temporary housing for women and children. So that's a great one there with other owners members, and there's a lot of these that are just exciting, and they have a big meaning behind them, and the vision. Like the common piece is the vision behind these projects. So waking up one day and saying, "Hey, I'm going to go develop a $12 million project." It's a big undertaking. I mean, talk about a team, right? So we just feel grateful to be involved as a small piece of that puzzle and to help bring that to life.
That's such good reasoning, such good noble causes there with the temporary housing. Out of all the properties that you've done, and is there anyone that you like drive by or see that makes you feel the most proud of?
It's always fun to drive by a property that you've been involved in. I mean, even to a small degree. I mean, definitely more so when and I remember this was not even here before, or when this property looked totally different, and you never think twice unless you were part of it. There's one in Chicago where it's a mid-rise building in Chicago, and we were there to help because the paneling was failing. So the panels that were installed failing, crumbling, falling off. It was a safety hazard. It was a tricky one to work on repairing for them, but it's one I always drive by and I see it, and it's a reminder that no matter how large the obstacle is, you could figure out a solution to get it done. Because big things, right? Big buildings, big projects. It helps recall that it's possible. When you do big things, it's possible. Because sometimes, for me at least, sometimes I go, man, am I able to do this? It's a big challenge here. Like, it's almost a second guess, right? You're second guessing yourself. You can call it like an imposter syndrome. But say, well, you know what? I did this already. I've done that, and I could do this. I just got to put my focus on it, build the team, and we can make it happen. So anytime I looked at a project and I take time to talk to an incredible person like you, because not often do I sit here and just think about all the different things. I appreciate you, asking these questions and helping me dig into some memories here. But that was the one that we did where it's in Indiana in Whiting. And this is the one that has the ice cream shop and the offices down below. And I was parked outside waiting for a fire inspection. And I seen the mom come down the stairs, bring her kid out. Dad picks her up. You're seeing these lives here. Again, it goes back to the, affecting other people's lives. And it felt good. It fills up the tank of, that giving back feeling of you've done something to help out the community. And it gave me a little boost of energy. And I know a lot of folks that are doing rehab work. I feel like that they themselves find a passion in it. You see posts and, see them getting dirty, swinging a hammer. That's fun, man. I mean, it's a great change of pace. So I've been told I need to get back out there and do more of that. So I'm going to make a point on my next flip here in Chicago to put on a tool belt every now and then and swing the hammer. So get ready for some post about that.
Yeah, we got to see that on the Instagram. Where is your Instagram so people can find you?
JimVaniBuilds. JimVaniBuilds on Instagram and Facebook.
JimVaniBuilds. Okay, we'll make sure that's on the screen, and it'll also be below in the description. Hey, drop a comment if you if you've built something yourself, or if you haven't built something and you want to learn how to build something. Drop a comment, and Jim will give you some information on that. If you're in the Subto community, look at the construction semester that's going to be coming, led by Jim Vani, and also the fix and flip that he's going to be working with Dorina and Luver on. Like most entrepreneurs, I don't sleep enough. So the hours that I do sleep need to be of better quality. The 8 Sleep Pod, it has been a game changer for me. Perfect temperature all night, less snoring, and I actually wake up refreshed. And my wife does as well, which is a huge plus. Happy wife, happy life. You can try it through my affiliate link below. Now we go back to the episode. So you did say that you started construction because your dad, so I assume you were an employee for a while. You now own your own construction company, is that right?
Yeah. We have a commercial/residential commercial company, or a construction business, and it does a lot of commercial, but we are focusing more on residential now. Locally in Chicago, we're rolling out services to homeowners, primarily those that are getting 2 or 3K loans, so rehab loans. So there's programs out there where folks will buy their first home and they'll get funding to fix it up before they move in. And that role requires certain experience, licensing, insurance, and the understanding of a process of the paperwork. So not everybody fits that as a contractor. So when we work with lenders, and we are on their list as an approved contractor, and that's what we're putting. One of the arms of the company is focusing more on that now.
Great. Is that statewide or federal wide? I haven't heard something like that where you get money for rehab on your first home.
So FHA 203K, got to be owner occupied on that one. And it's certain types of construction can happen because there's a 203B program that I've not been involved in, that are not as common, which are heavier rehab pieces. That's what it used to be back in the day. I used to do some lending as well, so I was on both sides. I had the lending hat on, the mortgage guy hat on, and then now the construction. But that program is great because you can go buy. I had somebody buy a 3-unit in Chicago, the move-in one. They got the loan to acquire it, and they got the construction money, and they fixed up all the units, and they moved into one of them, and they rent out the other two. Talk about a great program. Now, it doesn't involve creative finance. That's even better, but that's a great way to almost like hack the system, right? Is if you are taking your first step into the world of investor, that is a great way to do it, right? You buy a multi-unit, 4 units or less. You can get an FHA 2 or 3K loan. You can get money to fix it up, live in one, rent the rest out, and you can repeat that every so often. And you can go buy another property in the future. You have to check out the guidelines of what that would look like. But typically, 1 or 2 or however many years later, you can potentially qualify for one of those again.
Yeah, that's amazing information. Drop a comment if y'all knew about the FHA 203K. I didn't know about it. I've been doing this for 2 years now, and looking at FHA and conventional loans. Great information there. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, definitely.
When did you make the switch from being an employee to owning your own construction company? What did something trigger you?
I mean, I think of the true employee role. I was about 16 years old for that. Worked at a fast food place. I did that for one year, and then every other income producing position I've ever held is somewhat of a self-employed role, because you have when I did lending, you're a loan officer, so you considered essentially a 1099 employee, right? So it was all self-generated at that point, and there was also then the construction piece. So most of my life, it's been more of a self-employed type of a role. Then having a business itself, that for construction at least, that formed about 15 years ago. So that's where you could say it's more of a formal, things are filed, documents are with the state, like all that happened. But the way I operate has always been more of I couldn't fit within a box too well, and I needed to kind of explore things and have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. And that the discipline required to be a business owner, it works well for me.
One of the unemployables that makes some of the best entrepreneurs, right?
That's it. Yeah.
What is your Mount Everest that we have with Owners Club and Pace pushing us to do?
Yeah, the Mount Everest has been an incredible clearing of the vision. Just looking at how do we get there, and the evolving Everest. I know that some of us have one that sticks, and then others like me, it'll slowly evolve and adjust as things are going. But the initial core of it never changed for me. It was helping 300 individuals get housed that are of the less fortunate or of some type of lower income. That's an underlying piece of that. Within 5 years, is to assist 300 people with more affordable housing, and that's done in a lot of different ways. One is the new construction project that I mentioned, and a lot of those that will be potentially more affordable housing. So that'll fit the bucket there for me for hitting that goal as I complete those projects. But then as we're doing acquisitions or rehabs, we're looking at co-living, which then provides the ability to do more affordable housing as well. And that's one of the biggest pushes that is out there right now, is affordability. And that's going to continue to be so, especially with AI and things changing. And there's never been so much change happening at one time. So we're living in a unique period of the timeline of humans on this planet. And this change that I see from others that are more smarter than me happening is the biggest change we're ever going to see, and in the shortest amount of time, which will result in the wealthier get more wealthy, and the poor get more. The divide, right? The whole divide from the middle, and you have these two groups. So by looking at the affordability piece, which is the co-living, the RV parks, the different ways to achieve the housing for those who will need it there, there's a lot of security from the investor side to focus on that model. But then you have the reward of really creating that for those who need it. And then there's the luxury side. So I don't shy away from the luxury flips. That's not my focus. And as I continue to grow, my focus does narrow more and more. And I could see it narrowing to a point where it's just going to be pure affordability focused and pure co-living models of some degree. But right now I'm a little more wide with a wider vision because I'm early on in my Mount Everest.
Yeah, such a good reason, man. I don't know why we're not working together yet, because my Mount Everest is very similar. So recently, as of late for the last year, it's been help out 400 individuals with affordable housing through co-living, sober living, helping out veterans, aged out foster kids, and that group there, all those different groups, because depending on where the property is, that one property may not work for one co-living situation, but it could work for sober living.
Love that.
So we're on the same vision. We need to get on the same path to help each other out. But recently I was at a network event and I was talking to a high net worth individual that deals with family offices. And I told him, so it's directly to you, you need to pick up that number, because he goes, I told him helping out 400. He goes, why not 40,000? He goes, when you're talking to somebody of my level, I'll hear you when you say 400, but I'll start listening when you say you're helping out 40,000.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's a great a shift of the mindset there.
Yeah, I mean, I still get nervous saying that word, that many numbers.
Couple extra zeros, why not? Go for it, man. I love that. It's huge.
Yeah, so working, as earlier you were mentioning, working with people, partnering with people, so we partner up, we can easily get that number so much higher, so much faster.
Let's do it. I love that.
And then with your construction that you're doing, Tracy Coes and Kaipo and Dustin, they're doing ground up construction in Houston, Texas as well. So that's another person you can partner up with. And then we have Brian Madsen, he's doing some ground up construction. And I have another group, they're not an owners club, Devin and Eric, they are doing some ground up construction built for purpose. So right there, we have multiple avenues to help you. You have the construction, so I work together and help them help you, and I do the connecting for Edgar the connector here, and try to scale that way.
That's fantastic, Edgar. No, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me on and adding so much value to the community. It means a lot.
Appreciate you, man. I'm trying to do this I do it for a selfish reason, so I can learn more and see how I can connect, but I do like to share it so other people can learn from it. What word of advice do you have for people that want to get started to be their own boss?
Yeah, the own boss is, in my opinion, you don't have to necessarily be your own boss to do great things. You can work with others in a different role that fits you. So I think the first thing is to determine what type of person are you, your personality types, your traits, and figure that out, right? Figure out, you can call it your avatar, right? What is good for you? And you can essentially somewhat be your own boss to a degree of having the right, even employer that allows you to spread your wings and do things that you may not do where you're at now. So I think it's part of that. It's maybe they don't want to be their own boss. They just want to grow and do great things. That's great. And for those who do want to be their own boss, my view on that is, it's not, if you haven't done it before, it's not easier. It's definitely not. It's more challenging, but that's a reward, and if you're the type that operates where you feel rewarded by overcoming challenges, in my view, that's the definition of having a life that is you're fulfilled and you're satisfied, is by having a purpose and having a meaning, and by finding the purpose and the meaning and taking that on as your responsibility, that then leads to a happy life. So there's a journey there, right? And I'm I'm on that journey, the pursuit of happiness that, that we know of. It's the pursuit of that and continuing to pursue that on a daily basis and focus on it. So I would say that figure out who you are and what fits you, and don't veer off of that, and dive into it deeply. Of course, with the same mind of there has to be productivity that results in revenue to support yourself and your goals. So, there's something that someone I know would say, oh, I love doing this thing. And it resulted in them having such a low amount of income for their life that they can barely survive. So there is a piece of things where early on stages is you may have to grind on something you don't truly love to a full degree, find a way to enjoy it, and do your side hustles. And the side hustles are pushed heavily in this community. Folks that have a W-2, they have a job. Oh, I want to be my own boss in this field. Well, then go do a side hustle in that field, right? Go try it out. It's basically an internship. And by being in sub 2, you're having the opportunity to get in and shadow and bird dog and orbit around those, doing great things to see, do I really like this? Is this for me? And once you know what the thing is that fits you, then you hit the gas. Then you shift up the gears and you keep driving while you still have that W-2 supporting you. That's the way everyone's different. Some people say burn the bridges and you go. Hey, I think that's very respectful. You can't say that's a terrible thing. But for those that want to hedge themselves a little, which is the way I would see it, it's do it that way. Is do your side hustle, connect with Edgar here, connect with us that are in the community doing great things, and you can come under our wings and we can help you get there.
Thanks. Thank you, JimVaniBuilds, for that insightful advice. And people, he said, find your avatar. If you're not sure what that is, do a bunch of things. Do a bunch of things till you figure out what you like.
Sure.
But he did mention you need to find a job, something to hustle that's going to pay you a good amount so you can focus on what it is that you like doing if what you like doing doesn't pay that much. So it's got to have a balance. Everything's got to have a balance in life.
Yeah. One quick thing about the side hustle, though, I want to leave the formula behind that real quick too. It's, let's say your side hustle is generating you half the amount you're making on your W-2. Well, think about the hours you're putting into that side hustle. If you're putting in 10% of your time into your side hustle, but that's bringing you half of the money you're making on your W-2, you now can see, well, if I put in all my time into my side hustle, so figure that pivot point at the right time. And some love their W-2. There's an engineer role or there's a teacher role. There's nothing wrong with keeping that either and doing both. I know folks that are doing great things in real estate or business and still do their W-2 because they're doing something they love in their W-2. So if folks think that they want to go and quit, well, don't quit what you love, man. Just add into your wheelhouse something more to bring it to the next level in life financially. So just want to add that in there.
Powerful point, man. Thank you so much. What do you need today? How can people work with you?
So the way that you can work with me is find me on social, number one. JimVaniBuilds. You'll find me on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Follow me there. Check out what I'm doing. If you have an interest, drop me a DM. We'll connect. There's many ways to work with me, but most of the time that people come to me is they have something that has a construction piece to it. Whether you're looking at doing a fix and flip, whether you're going to renovate a property, or you want to do ground up, reach out to me. Let's collaborate and find ways to make money together.
You heard it from JimVaniBuilds there. Hey, thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. And drop a comment. Let's work together. Let's help out. A lot of individuals need help. It's not just for housing for single family. There's a lot of people out there, and Jim and I and the community are going to help out a lot of them. Thank you so much. Until the next episode.
Thanks, Edgar. Appreciate having me.
Yes, sir. Catch this next podcast where you can start your dreams and start to own your time the way these other guests have.